everybody kind of knew back in the day that Meek Mills and Puff was a little too friendly.
We already knew Meek Mill was involved with Diddy, and a lot of people suspected Trey Songz was up to something shady because of the accusations over the years. But what we didn't realize was just how messy things got with Diddy. And yeah, French Montana was involved too, but nobody really cares about him. What we all really want to know is how Diddy supposedly used Trey and Meek. Do you remember that guy who went viral when the feds raided Diddy's mansion back in March?
Yo, Diddy had that man in the room. Look, yes, I put my ear to the door and I brought the phone because Diddy started going in overdrive. I ain't know what the was going on, but I just heard balls slapping against his cheeks. I heard struggling to take. I heard being like, yeah, daddy. Like when he started all that daddy this and daddy that, and then I heard some hollering and struggling. Like, yeah, I kept the phone there and I recorded all this because I was like, this Diddy.
What that guy recorded were horrifying screams. Whether Meek was begging for mercy or crying out in pleasure, who knows? What's clear is that he seemed to benefit from it in some way. Then there's Trey Songz, who's been hit with all kinds of disturbing accusations over the years. But the wildest story came from a live stream where some teenagers shared what they heard from someone who attended one of Diddy's infamous parties.
I could say something about a Diddy party right now, but I don't know the rules of the game if I'm allowed to say it.
Say it. You'll be okay.
One of my boys, a social media influencer, this was early, back in like 2018.
What's one of your boys?
I'm not gonna expose him because he said some viable shit, but he was at a Diddy party and they invited him to Diddy's room. He walks in, Trey Songz was sitting on Diddy's lap making out with him, and they asked him if he wanted to join.
What the
No, ain't no way.
They're all gay. They're all undercover gays. I promise you that. I promise you that.
You're probably wondering why anyone would believe what some teens said about Trey Songz. And maybe some of you are thinking we should leave Meek Mill alone. But this isn't really about Meek or Trey. It's about Diddy and how he used these men, along with many other artists. If Diddy was doing these things with men, just imagine what he was doing to women. Cassie gave us a glimpse through her lawsuit, and now former Donity Kane member Dawn Richard has filed a lawsuit claiming that Diddy assaulted her, deprived her of food and sleep, and refused to pay her while doing all of this. But let's not forget, this issue isn't just about closeted celebrities. It's about serious allegations from both men and women that have been surfacing for years against the same people. It's disturbing to think that early in their careers, guys like Trey and Meek were approached by predators like Diddy. Instead of calling out the abuse, they allegedly continued the cycle by preying on new victims themselves. Back in January 2020, a woman named Jara Jeff filed a $20 million lawsuit against Trey Songz and Diddy. According to the court documents, Trey met Jeff and her friends, invited them to join him at a Miami nightclub, and what followed was a nightmare. Jeff accused Trey, Diddy, the nightclub, and the security company of failing to protect her from horrific abuse that took place that night. Even though Miss Jeff could tell Trey was already tipsy, she still accepted his offer since one of his security guys was driving. When they arrived at the nightclub, Trey invited her to his private table, where food and bottle service were in full swing. While Trey kept drinking heavily, Miss Jeff stuck to water, knowing he was already drunk. But unfortunately, being careful wasn't enough. She had no idea she had just walked into a predator's den. As Miss Jeff and her friend danced on the couch, because that's just how things go down in Miami, things took a dark turn. She was wearing a dress with a high slit, and suddenly, she felt two fingers inside her. When she turned around in shock, she saw Trey pulling his hand away. Stunned, she quickly got off the couch and sat down, trying to process what had just happened. But the nightmare didn't end there. After speaking to another woman at the club, Miss Jeff learned that she wasn't the only one Trey had allegedly assaulted that night. He had reportedly done the same thing to other women at the party. Allegedly, things took an even darker turn when Trey reportedly told Miss Jeff and her friends to leave the club and get into his car. Still in shock, Miss Jeff took the middle seat. When Trey suddenly took off his shirt, she discreetly began recording on her phone for safety. That didn't sit well with Trey. He allegedly tried to grab her phone, ordered the driver to stop the car, and then kicked her out. Miss Jeff said she hit the ground hard, scraping her legs. To make things worse, Trey reportedly threw water in her face, threatened her and pushed her out of the car as if she meant nothing. Now, here's the bigger picture. While people are making jokes about Trey and Meek Mill allegedly being involved with Diddy, there's a disturbing pattern beneath it all. Some believe that Trey and Meek were drawn to Diddy's circle because they were exposed to or seeking access to the same lifestyle. And just as Diddy may have used others, many think he was also under the influence of powerful figures above him. People so powerful that few dare to name them. What makes this even messier is a lawsuit filed by Diddy's former producer, Lil Rod. In the suit, Lil Rod didn't directly name Meek Mill, but he referred to a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj. It's not hard to connect the dots. According to Rod, Meek and Diddy had a secret arrangement, with Rod himself acting as the middleman to arrange their private meetups. These so-called sessions were disguised as business or music collaborations, but allegedly, a lot more was going on behind the scenes. This whole situation has left the hip-hop community in shock. Meek, who always seemed to pride himself on independence, now finds himself tied to some unsettling rumors. And let's not forget the viral videos. Meek looking unusually relaxed, lounging in Diddy's pool while Diddy affectionately called him Die. This drama raises serious questions about what's really been going on behind closed doors.
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
But don't get it twisted. Meek wasn't having any of it. He's been denying the accusations, calling them a sad attempt to ruin his reputation. In a statement, Meek's team said the lawsuit was baseless and full of lies, claiming it was just an extortion attempt meant to destroy his career. Of course, Meek had to take it to Twitter to clear the air. He vented about how people are always trying to label hip-hop artists as either gay or snitches, though he didn't directly say who he was referring to. Things escalated quickly when DJ Academics started speculating that Meek was the rapper mentioned in the lawsuit. Meek clapped back hard, tweeting, *Academics, didn't I tell you to stop playing with my name? I know what I'ma do when I see you, but it's gonna come with a little combo. And if that wasn't enough, Meek also tweeted, *One love to the gay people. But that juicy kitten ain't for me. Now here's the real question. What straight man says, juicy kitten? But hey, I'm just the messenger. Do y'all think Meek Mill and Trey Songz are victims? Or are they predators who would have stayed loyal to Diddy if things hadn't spiraled out of control? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know what you think.